Do you see these absolutely adorable little animals? Well, they're actually going to die a horrible, slow, and probably very painful death. The cause? That bag you took your jalapeno poppers home in. Usually don't eat spicy food, but that night you needed to feel something, anything. But now, thanks to the lack of meaning in your life and your unquestionably American palate, a cute, adorable little turtle is going to die.
According to the World Wildlife Foundation, around 1 million marine animals are killed by plastic waste every year. 100,000 are killed from being strangled by plastic bags alone, and approximately 1 in 3 marine mammals are found entangled in plastic debris.
The plastics commonly used in your day-to-day life, such as those in bags, wrappers, or bottles.
You're watching Badlands Chugs.
Are synthesized from one of the many products of distilled crude oil. The polymers that go into plastics are very large and are therefore very difficult to decompose. Plastics released into the environment under ideal conditions for decomposition take about 450 years to be broken down into reusable material. But it gets worse. Plastic trash thrown out into landfills or into the open ocean aren't exposed to these perfect conditions and can therefore take up to 1,000 years to fully decompose.
Each year, the world produces an average of 300 million tons of plastic, half of which goes to single-use items. Furthermore, in 2018, the Environmental Protection Agency estimated that only 8.7% of 35.7 million tons of plastic waste generated in the United States was recycled.
In the Pacific, there are two giant collections of garbage called the Western and Eastern Pacific garbage patches. The larger of the two, the Eastern Patch, is also known as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch and encompasses a massive area between California and Hawaii. The majority of the patch is made of microplastics nearly invisible to the naked eye, meaning that for large portions, the garbage patch is almost invisible to many of the marine life swimming through it. Because this problem is so large, systemic changes are needed. You can't counteract the millions of tons of garbage being thrown into the ocean by personally choosing to bring a reusable bag to the grocery store. You can, however, make a difference by pushing for larger, systemic change in your municipal, state, and regional communities.
A common first step for many states has been banning plastic bags. California, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Maine, New York, Oregon, and Vermont have all banned plastic bags, while cities like New York City, Charleston, and Miami Beach have bans on plastic straws and stirrers.
While this certainly is progress, many experts agree that this can only be the first step of many. Jim Leap, the co-director of Ocean Solutions at Stanford University, believes that, quote, banning straws may confer moral license, allowing companies and their customers to feel they have done their part. The crucial challenge is to ensure that these bans are just the first step.
While plastic straw and bag bans are good for a start, it's important that we pass legislation to further decrease our dependence on this harmful material. Leap also says that, in addition to recycling more and reusing materials more, we need new materials that can do the same jobs as current plastics, but are biodegradable, non-toxic, and do not concentrate in food chains. This means we need to increase funding for sustainable alternatives to plastic while moving away from single-use products at the same time.
Yes, Shannon! Yes, Shannon! Okay, Shannon!
The amount of trash in our ocean is unfathomably large, so much so that the problem can seem alien and distant. It's important, however, to neither feel as though the problem is unrelated to us, that we are uninvolved, while also not letting ourselves be convinced that due to the scale of the issue, this problem of plastic waste is completely unfixable. And that's where you come in. Do your part by pushing for plastic bans in your communities, attend and speak at your local town hall meetings, call your representatives and tell them you support funding for sustainable alternatives to plastic. Tell others about what's being done to our oceans. There is no Planet B. Thank you.